Welcome to Imaginary Interviews. Interviews with the living, the dead, the real, and the imaginary. Today we have a very special guest. Today we are interviewing the United States of America. So, welcome, United States.
Thank you.
You sound very young for a 242-year-old country.
Well, I'm 34 in country years.
Oh, like dog years?
Yes.
So you're still relatively young.
Yes, especially when you compare me to my elders like England, France, Russia, China, Japan.
What do you think is America's, if I may call you that, America's contribution to the community of nations?
Well, I think we're a nation of people who are trying to forge a new identity. Being an American means getting a new start, but also being willing to give up on your attachment to the old world.
Yes, we are the new world, aren't we?
Yes, and we're still forging that identity.
What do you mean?
Well, we used to be a European-centered, Eurocentric country. Soon we'll be what they call a minority-majority country. That's a major shift.
And it's only taken 242 human years or some 34 country years to do that.
Well, evolution of consciousness is usually not an overnight thing.
And it probably involves looking at some pretty ugly history, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about. No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
What am I talking about?
Well, you're talking about the near decimation of the Native Americans, who numbered in the millions when Europeans arrived on this continent. You're talking about the subjugation and enslavement of African Americans. You're talking about the Chinese Exclusion Act. You're talking about the internment of Japanese during World War II. I could go on. Yes, I'd say we have a bit of history to look at. But as James Baldwin said, not everything can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced.
And how are we going to do that?
Well, I think it's being done. It has to be done.
Well, how is it being done?
One step forward, two steps back.
Obama being the step forward and Trump 2 steps back?
Yes.
And with that, we're going to have to take a break for a minute and get back to you. So hang on, and we'll have a musical interlude until we continue with part 2 of this interview with America. Okay, before the break, we were saying that Obama was a step forward and Trump was 2 steps back.
Yes. And young people for the most part have not accepted the premise that black people are scary, or that Asians are foreign, or that Native Americans are a threat.
Why do you think that is?
Because young people place more trust in their peers than in their parents. And their peers are black and Asian and gay and Native American if they're lucky.
You sound pretty liberal. Do you have a political philosophy?
Yes, I am liberal. Of course I'm liberal. You can't invite immigrants from all over the world to give me your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free and not be liberal.
But the flag waving, the flag wavers are conservative, don't you think?
I'm kind of schizophrenic. In fact, I've become something of a sociopath in my middle age.
How do you mean?
Well, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, my friendship with Saudi Arabia, Chile, Iran.
Is that Is that any different from the war with Mexico, the Spanish-American War, the Manifest Destiny?
There you go again, only bringing up my negative history.
Have you ever read Howard Zinn's People's History of the United States?
It's on my to-do list.
Do you think that America is a imperialist country, a colonializer?
Well, we used to be a colony, of course. And in some senses, we are an imperialist country. We have military bases all over the world, so many that we don't know how many we have, 800 to 1,000, I suppose. I don't keep track of that kind of thing.
So you think we are a very imperial country?
Well, some people say so. But we're only doing it for the sake of defending what we feel is in our best interest.
Do you think that 9/11 was an unprovoked attack?
Well, clearly they hated our freedom and the fact that we invaded their country, built a military base on their land.
Do you think America should have some sort of Truth and Reconciliation Commission?
Well, if we don't have one, it'll take a lot longer to get to both the truth and the reconciliation.
Well, I want to thank you very much for your time today.
USA, USA, USA.
Okay. Thank you again for your time. And join us next time for another very interesting interview on Imaginary Interviews. Thank you. One additional note, we've done 3 imaginary interviews so far. Our first interview was with Donald Trump, and part 2 was an interview with Bambi's mother. The second interview was with Jesus. It was a 3-part interview with Jesus. And this latest interview was with America, the United States of America, 2-part interview. So if you have any questions to any of the 3 interviewees, please leave it in the comment section. And if there's enough questions for any of the interviewees, we'll have them back and we'll have them answer the questions. Okay? Thanks for listening.